Hello everyone, today we're joined by Jons Slemmer, who is joining us from Sichuan in China. And he lives in a city called Chengdu and runs a digital marketing company called RedStar. And hello, John.
Thank you, Patrick. Great to be here.
Could you just give us a quick sharing about who you are and what you do, and how did you land up in Chengdu?
Yeah, so I've been in China for just about 6 years now. The first time I came was actually quite a bit longer than that. I came in 2007 for the first time. Stayed a few months, was very interested, and over the years I came pretty much every year, sometimes longer, sometimes shorter. And I just liked China. I was interested in China. And in 2013, I had my life changed a little bit. I had some things going on, and at that time I decided I wasn't too happy in the Netherlands anymore, or I wanted to see other things. And I made a decision to relocate to China, to Chengdu. I wanted to specifically go to Sichuan, which I liked very much. And with a bit of preparation time in 2014, roughly in the summer, I made my move to China. So it's been quite a few years now, and I always had a business in the Netherlands doing IT as well, for medium and large scale companies on the internet. And it took me a few years to maybe really get to understand the Chinese internet market a little bit more. I'm still learning pretty much every day. There's always an adventure going on, and you learn from those things. But I feel comfortable enough after a few years to start helping other people to get them started on the Chinese internet and help them grow and share my knowledge and experience that I've taken over here.
It's interesting that you're what you call a foreigner, and then you're actually doing internet marketing in China. Who are your clients in China then?
Yeah, it is surprising. My clients are very wide. They're worldwide. We have customers from Australia, Canada, America, everywhere in Europe, Thailand, Japan. And these are medium to large scale customers, large scale enterprises. Some are very large, and they have some kind of internet need, and it's hard for them to find the right information because everything in China is Chinese. They don't have the right people to connect and help them, and that's what my role is. So I am online findable for them, and they connect with me, and then we start building that relationship, and somehow they like working with me sometimes more than the local companies. I think because I have I know how they're thinking, I know what kind of information they want, and sometimes I can answer their questions before they even have asked them. So just because of my background in doing business in Europe for a long time, I am able to bridge that communication or project approach, which they're looking for. And I think that's my sort of unique selling point for working with the customers. And then we have the Chinese team who actually do a lot of the actual work, because I'm not Chinese. I'm reading and speaking a bit of Chinese, but I will never be as good as a Chinese person on that, right? So I think we're combining the best of both worlds in this way.
Oh, understood. Thank you very much for sharing like that. So these are companies who are international, but they're trying to market and to actually expose themselves to Chinese consumers then.
Yeah, so this is usually, there's a few startups, but usually it's medium to large scale enterprises that are looking to enter the market or have already entered the market. So they have already maybe a Chinese subsidiary. They are already doing business. And this can be B2C, but a lot of the times it's B2B as well. And then it can be all sorts of business. We have medical, high optic lasers, to education platforms, to all sorts of industries. So we're not very industry specific. And the type of customers make it very interesting to deal with a wide range of industries.
Wow, okay, that's really interesting. You've started out in China, and I'm sure you experienced some ups and downs. Can you share with me a big challenge that you actually faced, and how did you overcome that?
I think not just for me, but for many of the non-Chinese, for the international businesses that are wanting to start in China, is they're the basic challenges, or the challenges people normally talk about, but I think they're very true. The
Mm-hmm.
business environment is very different. Culture is very different. The language, of course, poses a big barrier. A lot of the times, what I see is the ventures into China are run by, let's say, the US department or from the headquarters. And then the people who are really on this project, they don't have a very deep understanding of China as a country, as a culture, and as a marketplace. So they have a lack of how things work and are run here, and then that slight disconnect with the Chinese consumer, which is different than the other markets they are possibly operating in.
Okay, but I'm sure you're there because you've experienced some success, and you're able to replicate it. What kind of big success have you met, or what has really made your day or made your way there in China?
So for me, I'm not going to say we are a big success, but we are helping customers, and we're helping clients succeed in what they want to do. Um, the most challenging part is like starting with educating them. So, for example, I'm on the internet, and lots of customers like, hey, I want to have a website in China. It's like, yes, but are you aware that the Chinese don't really use websites? They use their phones. They use these existing platforms. Why build your own platform, or why build your own website? So going from the education of like sharing how the Chinese market is very different than anywhere else in the world, and then providing them the right services to do it succeed. So starting with maybe social media, and then building a mobile website, or getting them on the platforms where the Chinese consumers are, or if it's business to business, get them building that brand presence, and supporting tools for digital supporting tools for their sales network or their sales agents. So I think I'm proud of the things we do in that way, and hopefully people see that as a success. But we are just at the start, and we're gonna hopefully do much more for our customers in that regards towards the future.
I'm very sure you are. Thank you for sharing that with us. With that, we're going to wrap up this podcast segment. But before we go, how about this? Is there one thing that you can share about how people can win big in Asia and what they should be doing, especially in China?
If you are a business and you want to move into China, like start into the market, come here. Just literally spend a few months in the Chinese market.
Mm.
Come see how consumers behave. Come talk with other business. Come see how business is done, as it is very different, and you need to have a certain mindset to be able to enter and succeed in the Chinese market. So that would be my biggest advice or tip. Come spend some time here and really learn on the ground. There's like people can try to explain you, people can try to share their knowledge, but without really experience it on your own, I feel you're lacking a lot of context in that regard. So that would be my number one tip.
Okay, so like what John said, to actually succeed and to really penetrate this market, spend some time walking the streets of China, meeting the people, understanding the business context and the challenges that you face on the ground. Is that right, John?
Exactly. You gotta have some boots on the ground, and if it's not you, then you gotta have someone in your business, in your company, to fulfill that role. Um, at least initially, you can explore and get a feeling of the ground, but you gotta have someone to take that role and spend some time here to really better understand the market, the Chinese market.
Okay. Thank you, John. Thanks for sharing with us how to win big in Asia. And we'll actually be going into more conversation in depth about digital marketing as well as the nuances that you've mentioned. As like some people are saying, you don't need a website in China. You actually need a lot of other kind of channels to reach out to the Chinese consumer. And we'll be going in depth to find out what those strategies are exactly in the Asia Marketing Summit. So thank you very much, John. And I really appreciate your time on the podcast today.
You're welcome, Patrick. No problem at all. Happy to
Okay.
share.
Thank you very much. Bye-bye.